Welcome back to Chamber Exchange, the TV show. I want to thank our sponsors who helped make the show happen, Bank Hometown and St. Vincent Hospital. And pleased to have with us on our second segment here, David Hill from Path to Mastery. David, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, David, we were talking before we went online. You've been a sales professional for 30 plus years in a few different roles in that time. But you started Path to Mastery in the aftermath or in the middle of the pandemic, as so many people did, starting kind of businesses and kind of new beginnings. But the idea was to work, with salespeople to understand the techniques, to work at their trade, if you will, and maybe you can talk about that what motivated you to start the business.
Sure, yeah. So I've been in, as you mentioned, over 36 years to be exact, in sales, and I'd always sold, and in about 2000, and I think it was around 2013, I became a trainer for Keller Williams. I've been a real estate broker for the last 20 years as well. And I was teaching real estate agents how to be more effective selling real estate. And what I realized is I actually kind of had more of a passion for doing that than I actually did, selling real estate. Although I sold a lot of it and I helped a lot of people, and I enjoyed it, and I still love it. I'm still a licensed broker. I found a passion in helping other real estate agents sell more homes, and so I started there, and from there I ended up going to a company called Success, which publishes a magazine. Became a trainer for them for a while, and then eventually was with eXp Realty, and then Grant Cardone's company, which is called Cardone University as well. Mm-hmm. I deliver a curriculum for them. So I've been doing it a long time. I've been teaching it for, going on 12 years now.
Right. So people might say, someone has an innate ability to do sales. I mean, there's a piece of that, but I just had a meeting with a chamber member business the other day, and kind of in the sales services space, and they talked about how their company does bring in a trained professional to work with them on technique and trends and how to stay motivated and things like that. So not everyone has it innately to go out and kind of sell a product or a good or a service. And that's what you kind of coach and help people to do.
Yeah, so I think for a lot of people, some people, it's easy to go out and connect with people. Like you've heard people say, oh my gosh, you should be in sales. You have such a great personality. Yeah. And that's fine for, connecting with people and being able to build rapport, but ultimately helping somebody make a decision and helping somebody through a process is different. So we teach a framework where we bring people through every step in the sales cycle, which the initial step is really just how to greet people and how to effectively, connect with someone and get them even interested in talking to you. And then from there, we go to fact finding, which is really going deep with people, figuring out what their challenges are, what the problems they have in their business are right now, or in their life, the things that are keeping them up at night, right? We learn to go deep. Our consultation should be focused on the challenges that came up. Next step is just close, right? Ask for the business. Some people are great with people, but they're scared to ask for the business. They don't like rejection, and then follow up is critical. I'll tell you, follow up is really one of the biggest parts of the sales process, because the majority of people do not do business with you right away. You have to have a system in place and a process to keep following up over time.
So two things that listening to you come out of that. So, you'll work with that individual or that company to see, where maybe a salesperson is getting stuck in the process, or how there can be strategies on how to overcome that.
100%. So we look at their whole sales process, and we have a workshop that's part of the workforce training grant, the fund. It's 15 hours, and each of those 5 steps I just gave you is a 3-hour segment. So we walk through the business owners, the employees, the salespeople. And by the way, your employees, even though they don't call themselves salespeople, they are still involved in your sales process, because when somebody calls into your office and asks a question, just the way you answer that question is part of your sales process, whether the person engages or they just hang up and go to the next person. So we really help them look at everything they're doing, from the way they answer phones, to the way they ask for the close, to the way they follow up. Every detail is important when it comes to the sales process.
Tone and culture matter, right?
100%. Right. Yeah, 100%.
So the other piece you mentioned was kind of that follow up or follow through. So that's like the fine line of persistence without being overbearing, right?
Yeah.
And the sales space. So there's a nuance to that as well.
There is, and I think that's why the first step, like I said, the greeting is really about putting people at ease, and when you learn to put people at ease, and it's about them, then you can contact somebody as many times as it takes. It's all timing, right? So at the end of the day, I may talk to somebody, and we hit it off. You just don't need what I have right now.
Right.
So I have to be okay following up with you in a month, 2 months, 6 months, whenever the time is right. And then people deal with their own stuff. They don't want to spend money. They don't have the money, whatever it is.
Right.
You just have to be there. You have to come from a place of contribution. You have to be coming from a place that what you do is going to ultimately serve that person and solve their problem. And then you're going to be okay following up as many times as it takes. And I'll say this to the listeners. It typically is 5 to 12 times.
Right.
Like we have to set our mindset that it's going to take me 5 to 12 attempts before this person says yes to me. And most people, that's where they get hung up.
Right.
Somebody says no to them 3 times, they're like, oh, no, there's just no way. And they give up. Where if you set your mind for, hey, this is going to take me 8 times or 11 times or whatever it is, then you're okay when they say, no, not right now. No problem.
Right. And so you mentioned a workforce training fund. So there may be, business owners out there saying, hey, this is kind of interesting. How do I explore that? How do I pay for it? So the workforce training fund is the state.
It is, yeah.
Provides funding for companies that apply for various programs, and they'll pay for some trainings. They
do, yeah. They have. We have 3 courses. 2 of them are on sales, and 1 of them is on marketing. And they can literally apply for the grant. When they get approved, it's not a complicated process. You have to have been in business for 2 years or more, and in good standing with a DOR. Less than 100 employees. Pay your taxes. Pay your taxes. And just less than 100 employees. And then there's other ones if you have more than 100 employees, but the one with 100 employees is simpler. Less than 100. And if you just apply, and if you get approved funding, I come in. It's 15 hours. We can do we do 3 5-hour sessions, 5 3-hour sessions, or we can just do 2 full days and go through those steps with your team. Yeah. And the state pays the whole thing.
Right. And so I think people can go, on the Mass Department of Labor and Workforce website, and I think the workforce training grants are there, and it's an opportunity for, you're paying in taxes, you're contributing, a chance to maybe get a little back to help your sales and marketing. We got just a couple minutes left, David. Is there like a particular company or client that you work with that you say, I really got them over the hump or was transformational by being involved with this type of training?
Yeah, I'm working with a client now, and he really was kind of hung up on the whole, being pushy, being too aggressive. So, and he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. And, some people they're just naturally good people, and they want to help and they want to serve, but they don't want to seem like they're pushy, or they feel like being a salesperson is you got to be super aggressive and salesy, and it's not like that. And so we really just helped him put a process in place so that he always knows where he is in the sales process, and he just knows that what he does is helping somebody. So for him, it really started with his mindset that, okay, you need my help. I'm here to help you. You may not need it this moment, but when you need it, I'm going to be here. So what it ultimately did for him was it gave him the confidence that it's okay if he hears no.
Right.
A couple times. He'll keep calling, he'll keep following up until the client's ready. So there's so many examples of people like that.
So in addition to, you podcast, you've done some books, but how can we just about out of time, but if people want to get a hold of you, learn more, how can they do that, David?
Yeah, davidhill.link is probably the easiest way. It's a link tree. It has all of my different websites, and if somebody's interested in a grant, it's davidihill.com/training grant. And you can apply for the grant. You can see the courses we offer. And we'd love to help as many business owners as we can and salespeople.
Good stuff. David Hill, Path to Mastery, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Good stuff. All right. And we're going to come right back for our final segment. Stay with us.
These days, you've got your hands full in life. That's why we help you bank simply and securely with tools like Face ID and Touch ID. It's why we make it easy to make purchases on the go and get cash back while you're at it. Why we help you quickly deposit checks wherever you are. And it's why we lend a hand with sending and receiving money right from your phone. So even when you're on the move, you can manage your finances. Bank Hometown. Unlock your potential.